for the Senate Republican perspective, here's Senator Kay Bailey Hutchison from Texas. Senator, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right, so, this has been a fascinating day, the fast-moving story. Our own chief White House correspondent this afternoon saying that there's an option 3 out there. These two plans, the Senate, the Republican plan coming together, and now possibly Obama signaling that he's less resistant to what Senate Republicans have to say. Have you heard that? Have you had a call from the White House?
I've not had a call from the White House, but I do think there has been a lot of talk. Certainly, Vice President Biden and Senator McConnell have talked. I think there are talks between Boehner's office and Reid's office, even though the rhetoric has gotten stronger today. I think there is a coming together now because we all know that we're at a deadline. And we know that so much has been put out there that has been knocked down that we now have got to get together on something that maybe all of us don't like, but yet it is a step forward in the Republican direction, and that's what I think we're going to have to work with at this point.
So you do see some softening maybe in the president's position. I just want to show our viewers the battle of the plans here, the revised House plan, the Senate plan. They're actually closer than one might think as you start to look at these and drill down on them. How do these two plans come together? In the time that remains, how does this happen?
Well, we are basically at the same point on cuts, not what we sought in the first place, but the almost $1 trillion in cuts and then raising the debt ceiling to that point, saying we're not going to raise it except for the real cuts that are offset. That's in the plans, and then a committee that would try to work out a longer-term plan. For instance, we must do entitlements, Jerry. If we don't do entitlements, we're not going to have a balanced budget, and we're not going to get significant debt reduction, and that's what we all must do. So that's what would be in the longer term, and that's the committee that's in both plans. So I think there are similarities, there are some differences, but if the Congress can get together, then the president needs to sign this, and then we'll go forward with the second step.
Well, and hopefully it all happens before August 2nd, but I really don't know if we can make that happen. Let me ask you this question, though. Speaker of the House John Boehner today saying, you know, this isn't the perfect deal. It's not the best deal. It's just a deal we could get. Listen to his comments here.
The bill's not perfect. I've never said it was perfect. Nobody in my caucus believes it's perfect. But what this bill reflects is a sincere, honest effort to end this crisis in a bipartisan way, to send it to the Senate where it can receive action.
All right, so you listen to that, and it makes me wonder whether the Republicans are already positioning themselves for 2012. They don't want to have to defend this plan. They can say, look, this is the best we could do with Obama as president, and then walk away from it. Is that what's going on here?
Well, somewhat. I mean, we're not going to embrace this because we wanted $4 trillion in cuts. We wanted entitlement reform. But I think we have to say that we are making small steps in the direction that we wanted to go. For instance, no taxes is huge because originally President Obama said taxes or I'm going to veto it. We don't have taxes. That's a step in the right direction. The cuts are not as much as we wanted, but they are cuts that will match the raise in the debt ceiling and no more. So I think we've made some small steps in the right direction, and we have laid a plan to go forward with more cuts that hopefully will include entitlements. So it's progress. It's just slower progress than we would have had if we had been in charge of the House and the Senate and had the president.
Well, I guess there's always 2012. Senator, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right, now that you've heard what